According to the NALPGAM, marketers currently pay between 25.2 million naira and 26.2 million naira for 20 metric tons of LPG, depending on location, a development that has significantly increased the cost of supplying the product to consumers. The association noted that the rising cost of LPG has imposed serious and severe hardship on household, food vendors, and small businesses that rely on cooking gas for their daily operation. It warned that many families could be compelled to abandon LPG and return to traditional cooking fuels such as firewood, charcoal, if prices continue to rise beyond their purchasing power. Now, according to the association, such a shift would reserve or reverse years of progress made in promoting cleaner and safer cooking energy across the country. It stressed that ongoing government efforts and public awareness campaigns encouraging the adoption of LPG are under threat as affordability continues to decline. The marketers further called for urgent measures to address the challenges affecting the sector, warning that failure to stabilize prices could undermine national clean energy goals and increase dependence on environmentally harmful cooking alternatives. But it looks as if the warning to the federal government by the association is coming too little, too late, as investigation by Dialogue has shown a rapid rise in the sale and use of firewood not only in Warri metropolis but in the state and the nation as a whole. So, what should government do battling with other issues and politics taking center stage at the moment? There is growing fear that indeed the gains made at the use of clean energy would be rolled back. But what should government do to change the situation and help families go through this period of higher LPG price? Well, all of this is what we'll look at and are really concerned of dealing with, especially on Dialogue today. Especially looking at the increase in the use of firewood and charcoal, and indeed because of the rising cost of LPG. Well, like I said, that's what we'll be having as a major discourse today on the show. We're talking about higher LPG price and the resultant increase in the use of firewood, which leads to deforestation. That's what we're having as a major discourse today. And to truly help us talk about this is someone that's well deep into the market of LPG. And not only that, but also, funny enough, an environmentalist. So indeed, we'll be talking to an expert as it concerns the high cost of LPG and the resultant effect of deforestation. And we're talking of no other person, environmentalist and also businessman. We're talking of no other person but Chief Sunny Onuesoke. You'll be joining us all the way from Asaba. Good day and welcome to the show, sir.
Good day, sir.
Yes, nice to have you on the show. We are really, really concerned with the increase in the price of LPG at the moment. And many Nigerians are indeed finding it quite unbearable, knowing that the price is now hovering between 1,800 to 2,000 naira per liter, or kg rather. Let's really understand, sir, why are we paying so much for LPG, knowing that we will still have close to 2 trillion untapped gas in the country at the moment?
Yeah, I think. Thank you. Let me repeat myself, but thank you for having me. Hello. Okay. There's an interference. I'm seeing interference in my communication. Hello. Yeah. You just asked a very salient question, and I think I appreciate you for asking such a question. There's a misconception about this LPG. This LPG mentality in Nigeria. So somebody was even most of the media houses, they had multiple misconceptions. Misconception in the sense that we only import 25 to 30% of LPG consumption in this country. That is what people take it to the bank with. You can fact check what I'm saying here. You see, we have companies that produce LPG in Nigeria. The major problem you guys have in this country, there are some companies that produce excess LPG, but they lack infrastructure, they lack storage facility, which is the most vital thing for LPG gas. Like LNG body produces this extensively, but they don't even have the facility to accommodate to store it domestically for our use. That even some of the imported companies that are coming, they are afraid of demurrage. They will be in the ports. They will be in the port for pretty some time. waiting. And if you know you want to be incurring demurrage at that level of business transaction, what would you do? You just have to bring the little that you can transmit it to storage in Nigeria and go back. Let me give you one figure that people doesn't believe in it. The domestic LPG production in Nigeria is roughly 70% of Nigeria annual consumption. People don't take it to the bank and fact checks me. The imported one is within the region of 25 to 30%. So Nigeria, you see today, we have this consumption of LPG, but the domestic facilities to store there for us is not there. Nigeria consumes approximately 1.3 to 1.5 million metric tons of LPG annually. People are not aware of this. While local producers, such as the Nigeria LNG, another small Ajib and others, their facility, they don't have the facility to store it up. So if you are asking a question, that's why being a major gas producing country, challenges are such as inadequate storage, infrastructure, transportation bottleneck, distribution costs, and market inefficiency mean that a lot. And some of the problems is still added by government irregular policy advocacy. There's inconsistency with some of the gas policies in Nigeria, especially in the LPG area. I think I should end for there first. Yeah.
Are giving us that narration that we do not have problem with production, but rather it is in storage. And if we look at how much revenue we make about 1.5 trillion annually, annually. That's almost 10 billion United States dollars annually on the issue of LPG. Now, my question is, why is government shying away from the issue of proper storage and also proper distribution? Let's understand. Or do you feel they are limiting other private sectors to come on board and take on these challenges to help liberate the market? Let's understand that.
Yeah, let me just comment. I think I will a little bit divert from what you're saying. You see, we always want people to come like Dangote to come and invest. When you don't even have tax holidays, you don't have some good, buffer zone for free people to come in and do things like this. Nigeria, one of the major problems is government irregular policies. Some of the great stakeholders in that sector who want to come into this country to do it, they have been afraid of the Nigerian irregular tax application system. And that's Nigeria tax system remain one of the roughest systems. Nigeria's tax system in Africa is one of the most retrogressive tax systems. People doesn't understand. It doesn't stimulate, it does not encourage foreign investors to go into it. The only people who can invest in this country and have a smooth sail is the government institutions. If they want to invest, they have a lot of things to override some of these bottlenecks. But you would have asked me, yes, you would have asked me why not some of the states go direct and go into this investment. Does it just mean that only private investors?
You know, you talked about we should rather look at state governments coming to invest, but you also do understand that sustainability and the issue of transparency has always been a problem. That's why we have government not investing in this sector. Yes, you also made mention of our inconsistency as it concerns policy, government inconsistency as it concerns policy. But let's look at a larger scale. What do you now feel that the government needs to do to bring in the private sector, apart from the issue of policies?
You just made my day with that question. You say majorly, if you look at what happens in Nigeria from the 36 states, there's more emphasis on politicking than governance. Take it to the bank. I'm not afraid of anybody. There's more emphasis on politics than governance. You think some of these individuals doesn't want the government back up? They want the government back up. There was a suggestion I made recently, and I said, what stops? We're having a problem with the Sable-Benin Road. And I brought up a suggestion. I brought a sensitization committee issues, and I came out to say, why don't Delta, Edo State, and another state, no, Delta and Edo, why don't they look for the private sector? They won't use their money. All they need to do is to call some of these banks, consortiums of banks. Yeah. Call a consortium of banks, let them finance the Benin Warisa Federal Road. Then make it a concession, concessionalize the road, put a toll gate. We have toll gates in federal roads in Lagos. We have toll gates in other part of this country. Put a toll gate, Give a mileage to the contracting firm that is going to run it up for 15 years, collect your money, sustain the road. If you want to make an handover, you can hand over. That's how to build issues. Not to stop the state government to invite foreign, because they prefer the state government to invite some of the foreign investors. They prefer government partnership because they feel they are guaranteed, and they know they will have a kind of, state actor backup in some of their endeavors. So when they come in and they say, okay, state-private partnership, stuff like that, they will come together. They will have more confidence if a state government is attached to the venture they want to do in Nigeria than they themselves coming up with irregular, because they will come up with the agreement they will come up with today. After a month, irregular taxes will come. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine is currently bringing an oxygen plant from the United States, from China. The cost of the oxygen plant is just 64 billion naira. Do you know, I'm on air, they should put it on record with the documents. Do you know the Nigeria MPA custom and excise duty took 34 million naira from my friend for importing a 64 million naira oxygen plant to Nigeria? And we document to that. And they detain this ship here, they detain his container in the port for almost 96 days. 96 days. And you want somebody to invest in Nigeria to bring his art company with this kind of bottlenecks and bureaucracies and red tapeism? How's it going to work out like that? People are ready to invest in the LPG sector because it's important it's important in our affair here. Yes, in our country here. It's even almost wasting. But when the people comes in today, this factor of national desert will come in. This factor of regional desert will come in. This factor of state desert will come in. This factor of local government desert will come in. This factor of community desert will come in. So you will totally discourage to stimulate foreign investors.
Chief Sunny Onuesoke, that's more of a big revelation coming on account of why we seem to be having less private partners as it concerns from major infrastructural development in the country. But let's leave that now and come to the issue that we are being faced with. Chief Sunny Onuesoke, a kg of gas is now 2,000 naira. And many Nigerians are already screaming to high heavens on account of this. What do you feel will be the way forward to drive down the price immediately so Nigerians do not go to a strangling point moving before the elections?
It's not a point to tell somebody. You can't tell. Let me give you another example. There's no scarcity of LPG in Nigeria. We should get something very clear. There's no scarcity.
Yeah, let's understand. What are we now facing?
Listen. The imported ones, some of them are at the seaport. Then the local producers don't have infrastructure, facility to store it. It is cheaper for them. It is more business convenient for them to export the locally produced one. Because the ready-made chips are there by the riverbank. But they don't have the facilities. That's the question. None of this is scarce. If I tell you, a country that produces 60 to 70% of its domestic consumption, why would there be scarcity? If there's no bottleneck, the bottlenecks are there. I've told you, the government's bottleneck, then most especially the lack of storage facilities by these producers. So those are the things we are looking at. Then the irregularity about government transport, taxes, and all those things. I think maybe some of them are saying it's even cheaper for them to export. But we try to do other things here.
Okay, now Chief Sunny Onuesoke, I'll play with you to hold on. Now, if you feel this is the problem, I want you now to advise government on what to do to help us bring down the price as an expert.
There are certain things the government should not leave for the private sector alone.
Okay.
Even if you set an underground privatization, even in the United States and UK that everybody goes every day.
Yes.
The government interferes in the education sector. Yeah. The government interferes, they get themselves in the industrial sector. The government gets themselves in vital institutions. Like what is the most vital thing to Nigerian interest today is NNPC. The thing is getting more worse now because I don't even understand, as exposed I am, I don't even understand the differences of NNPC Limited and when it was NNPC PLC or when it was NNPC federal government. So you see these irregularities come every day. Every day. They will sack this today, they will sack that tomorrow. tribalism, nepotism kills the fabric of this country. So you don't just say what the government is supposed to do. Like I've told you, they should soften down that tax drive of foreign investors. They should protect the security of foreign investors. So that's why some of the foreign investors wanted a stake from the government state actors to get themselves involved. Because we give them a guarantee that they just come as private individuals to do this. The only way to step down the price of that, I've just told you, we need more storage facilities, and the consumption is high. Somebody was telling me recently that because of the people, you should understand that the domestic consumption should increase first and foremost because of the massive deforestation. Now they could not even get rubber trees to do their local economic trees. They fell down to do their local fire burning. They can't to do their local firewood. They don't even see the woods today. So you see some of the purchasing power now falling back to the rural area. They still buy cars now. Go to some of the interior rural area. There are small pockets of micro filling plants, small microscopic filling plants. In some of other rural communities in the Roboland areas, for example, you see them. Because these women, they've succeeded in making them, they finish the forest by felling unnecessary deforestation, and now they're coming back to come and ask. When you meet them, why are you doing this? The next they will tell you that your papa get the land, that your mama might be the community person here. Which I say, why you say, now you plant the tree. We are feeling the pains today because the government is inactive. The government, the 36 state government in this country, apart from few ones in the West, like Ondo, Ekiti, or Osun, who have a very solid master plan about the environmental issues and deforestation and all those kind of things, green life, green world like that. Which other state will come on and tell me that there are good agencies that runs over it? No one. So there is free for all cutting of the trees. Now they've cut down the tree, they fell the trees. Everybody's not chasing LPG gas. It's coming. This is just an intro. And maybe
package, that means definitely we'll be running to firewood anytime soon. Okay, let's see.
That is the point where I said that the firewood is not there. So they've cut down your firewood on a massive deforestation of economic. There are the trees you want to do. Economic trees, like even native mango, bush mango, pepper fruits, mango trees.
Oh, wow.
Economic trees like rubber that you tap to make good money. They've all gone. They're not in our bush again. The only place you can see major woods now is just the shrines. Traditionally in my rubber land there, it's only the shrines that you see big woods that are used for what? For deity and other stuff, ancestral stuff are like worshiping, sacrifice, and other things. But they don't wood of even 30 meter, 30 diameter in our bush again in rubber land here. It's not there. Don't get confused. I don't want to call an man's tribe. Even the rural area, they finished. When I was growing up, they have this bush mango that gives you a bolo from the Ijaw area of this country. But today, the people go there to follow another bush mango way. The bolo tree, they sell them down and they spoil them. And my brother, we are working into a farmer, not even the LPG. It's going to be a general farmer from firewood to domestic gas. It's an intro, bro. Don't make my projection without anything. Because the focus of the government today is not to think about the domestic consumption of gas, but it's all about discussing politics instead of governance. Who cares about whose government want to care about whether the thing is scarce or not? Our focus now, as we are sitting, as we are talking here, the full country, the focus is politics, not governance. I could arrest my case in this area now.
Well, anyway, Chief Sunny Onuesoke.
Communication stability. But the power that powers in nature is not there. Insecurity is there. Inconsistency on government levies and policies scares away foreign investors. I've been in the private sector as part of my involvement in government.
Yes.
So the issue of somebody coming to tell you this, I know much better than it is. You can fact check my facts. You can do that. It's as easy as anything. The AI is there to give you anything you're looking for. If you ask why are people not coming, private investors not coming, they 1 million. How do I do the business here? There's not even lights to power the plants. What are we talking about here? You brought an oxygen plant. What is the relationship of EFCC with an oxygen plant? What is the relationship of NAPTAC with an oxygen plant? What is the relationship of you betted in Lagos? They will take your documents, they call it GAL, to Abuja. To do what? Look at the protocol list. Look Look at the rates, the bureaucratic list that is so discouraging to any prospective investor. And someone is coming here, you want to grow an economy, you just talking on paper and policies like that. I don't believe in policy and development. I think practical developmental growth, that settles the whole issue.
Okay, well, Chief Sunny Onuesoke, yeah, you've just really elaborated on why we are neck deep in the issues we are. But before I let you go, you're also a citizen of this great nation, and you're also noticing and seeing what is playing out, especially as it concerns insecurity in the country. Now, apart from power, insecurity is another reason we're not having a lot of foreign investment coming or FDI coming into the country. Now, where did we get it wrong when it comes to security? And what do we need to do to change the narrative and make Nigeria more secure and drag in more investment into the country?
I said, I'm only going to conclude with just 2 sentences.
Okay.
It's a very simple thing. The government, the state, and the federal government and institutions of this country, they should focus on governance as against politics. Why we're having all this insecurity, all these things, and all this is as a result of lack of governance. That's the bottom line. And weak institutions, both state and federal, weak institutions. That's why you're getting this problem. If we focus on governance, could you imagine that in this country, some people will come into power, the first day they were sworn in, they've started politicking for their next second term. Do you know that?
Yes.
They can even do it they start with the appointments. The contract they will give in their first tenure will determine they're coming back. But let's address this case and not discuss all these issues. We need governance. It's just governance that is the solution to this country mess. Governance, not politicking. It doesn't help you to anywhere. I just told you I left Rwanda not quite long. My brother, we know this man has been there. You were staying too long.
Yes.
But there's peace. Yes. There's peace. There's peace and development. You walk in the country by 2 o'clock in the night, everywhere is lit up with solar panels. Magnificent high-class solar panels. Not this one you see here that looks like Tojak. Please, let me rest.
Well, anyway, we need to really let you rest, Chief Sunny Onuesoke. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for being frank with your answers, especially to our questions. We truly appreciate your insight into all you've done. And thank you so much for being with us. Really appreciate the time with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, anyway, it's more like a wrap on the show today. While you always know, we'll always employ you to continue the discussion. Let it not end. Well, just like the sad narrative is given to us that, well, those that are already crying that LPG is sold for 1,800 to 2,000 naira per kg, we might be buying it at 3,000 naira come the ending of this month. But what should the government do? Should it be